Yo, what is up? I got a trade recap for today on a setup that I took for 1 to 1.71 is what I got out at. It is August 12th, Tuesday. You'll see by the title of this video. Let's get into the recap. Move this down right here. Beautiful. Alright, so we're going to go market replay. We're going to go back to 720. What did we know that we had today? Forex Factory. Today we had at 7:30 a.m. CPI, a bunch of red folder news. It's so very high impact. What do we see? On the 5-minute, 7:20 currently. By the way, this right here is a 1-hour low we just made. But you'll see right there. This right here is a 7:30. What this did, and if we go back to the beginning of the London session, get this up. London session opens, it comes down, sweeps out lows right here. We're getting manipulation. I was expecting today a continuation to go buy side and go near all-time highs, so that was my daily bias for the day. But we manipulated all these highs up here and up here off right before pre-market. So that sucked. I did not like that at all. So I was kind of confused and I was very patient. I wasn't trying to force anything today because I was questioning my bias now, whether it should still be at that point. What do we see up here as well? We have another buy side 1-hour liquidity zone. We're going to get near in the market open. Boom. All right, let's chill out for a second. What do we see right off the bat? That's at 7:45. This at 8:35. It's not 1 hour yet. Market opens. By the way, this rip down was from Trump speaking today. Talking bullshit. But we have a 1-hour high right here. What do we see right off the bat? Well, let's go into the 4-hour too and pause for a second. We're bouncing off of this 4-hour gap right between here. Let me even just look at this for a second. Here's where it is. Just coming into the market. Turn my magnet back on. What do we see? We have a 4-hour bullish or value gap right here. 4-hour bullish that we came down and retraced into. We respected it and we were closing out of it. What do we see after that? We're going to go back to the 5-minute and I'm going to have to just be watching this. This is on ES. Let's go to NQ. NQ is right here. ES is right there. If we go to the 4-hour right here, I just want to see if we got the same. Yep. This one inversed, but it tapped into this one. I didn't even notice this today, but we're just marking this out. It tapped into here. We had a 4-hour bullish fair value gap. Respected it. We came back higher. We have a fair value gap. We can get rid of this one because this one inverse to go tap into this one. But what do we see right off here too? We have a 4-hour bearish fair value gap that we ended up inversing today, and we inversed this up here, and we're now at all-time highs, which you're going to see in a little bit. But to come off right off there, we have those fair value gaps on here. We're to continue to go a little bit higher. Let market play out. Boom, what do we see right off the bat? We're going to select the bar. We're going to go back right here. We get our 1-hour sweep. What do we get on top of that? We're going to scale then down into the 30-minute. Never mind, I'm being goofy. I'm looking for this real quick. Right here. Sorry. We inverse to go lower. And in the market open, I should have noticed this as well because we ended up sweeping liquidity. But on top of that, we had a 30-minute get filled. This is a 30-minute bullish or value gap. We're just going to mark out 30-minute bullish or value gap getting marked. So look, we have this we're pushing bullish momentum out of here. We have a retrace into a 4-hour for value gap that we had in pre-market, and then coming down we retraced into this 30-minute. We filled orders within, and we ended up getting a 30-minute break of structure on top of that. If we got the 30-minute break or 5-minute break of structure, sorry. We came back down, retrace in here, we get a 5-minute break of structure off of that. Maybe I could have entered in around here as well and targeted all the way up there. Or I would have gone down and waited for a retrace into fair value gap. Well, let's see if we get that in between here, because that was the break of structure point. Fair value gap here. No. Let's scale down into the 2-minute. Tap into that 30-minute. This gets damn near inversed. Oh, right here perfectly. Let's look at this then. As we're playing into this big 4-hour fair value gap, by the way, that's after, remember we had that 5-minute break of structure after the 30-minute got filled right here. So we can mark this out as our 5-minute break of structure. It's our 5-minute break of structure. So market opens, what do we see? This is before the liquidity sweep, but market opens, we come down, we're tapping into this 30-minute. You could say we maybe swept like 30-minute liquidity here. Actually, I wouldn't even say there was any 30-minute liquidity, but we tapped into a 4-hour for value gap and respected it. And then we come and tap into this 30-minute in the market open. We get a 30-minute break of structure, a 5-minute break of structure. We go down into the 2-minute. Remember, this was where our 5-minute break of structure was. Sorry, I'm feeling slow. What do we see after that 5-minute break of structure? We also have this bullish for value gap. Damn, this is going to be annoying. We have this 2-minute bullish for value gap that we tap into, and then immediately, let's say that's at 9:18 a.m. We're looking at 9:18 to 9:20, around there. 9:18 a.m. What do we see? We have a high right here. Oh, beautiful. What do we see? We break structure. That is a pretty big stop, but let's just do this. Target down to this low. And what could I have gone then and targeted? This is not my setup that I took, but this is something that I'm looking at. It would have been very nice. I could have targeted. We had no imbalances between here, so first take profit would have been up here at this high. That's a 1 to 3. Second take profit would have been at this buy side liquidity, which got swept to 1 to 4. Third take profit, 1 to 5. This was a setup for today, now that I look at it. Although there was no liquidity sweep, we had pre-market. We were respecting a 4-hour bullish for value gap, wanting to go higher. Then we come, market opens, we rip down, tap into a 30-minute fair value gap, fill orders within, and then we get a 5-minute breaker structure out of that. And then we look and we see we have a 2-minute retrace, and on top of that 2-minute retrace, we get a 2-minute breaker structure. Could have targeted these highs. And that's the thing too, is it's like, okay, we're getting all this bullish momentum. Well, could we be targeting? There's no imbalances in between here, so the first take profit would have been here, which is beautiful. That's a 1 to 2. I should have taken this. I mean, and we could have also targeted all-time highs as well, and this trade would have gone for a 1 to 9. Wow. My account would have been passed. That's a setup for you without a liquidity sweep. Would I have taken this? I don't know. In hindsight, no, probably. I was looking at the market at this time. I didn't notice all of this. But it's also, there was no liquidity sweep, sell side to push us higher, or even buy side. Maybe once we got up here. So now I'm going to go to ES and show you where I ended up getting in. And sadly, I don't think it is marked out on here. It is. Beautiful. So I ended up getting in on a continuation model, which was a pretty solid setup. But as you can see, that was that same thing. Market opens and we're coming down on here. What? Maybe there was something I could have noticed on ES as well, because I was more looking at ES at the time. I was looking at both pairs of more ES. Wow. Yep. We don't get a liquidity sweep, but we ended up having this 30-minute bullish for value gap that we retraced into, and that was at 8:30 to 9. So we're going to go to the 5-minute now. We also get that 5-minute break of structure, and that's right here. 9:10. So now we get that 5-minute break of structure. Let me just even mark that out. 5-minute break of structure. That was right there. We had that 5-minute break of structure. All right, so and that was right around there, 8:55 to 9:10. That was around the macro. We can go to 2-minute on ES. What do we see? No retracement into fair value gap, except right here. Wow. Yep, same setup. Wow. Fair value gap. After we, like I said, we get that break of structure. We have this damn magnet. We have this bullish fair value gap that we retrace into here on the 2-minute. Boom, and we get a 2-minute break of structure. Looking at this, I would have entered in up here. Once that candle closed, put the stops down to this low or the fair value gap, and I could have targeted all the way up to here, which might have been a worse entry than what I got on ES. We're coming up all the way to these all-time highs. Nasdaq's at all-time highs, and look, 1 to 3. That would have been a 1 to 3. That could have been a setup. Now, ignoring all of this right now, what did I enter off of? Well, we swept the 1-hour buy-side liquidity sweep right here. And what do we see to the downside? We get a 5-minute inverse fair value gap right between here. Bearish, confirming bearish order flow. What were we confirming bearish order flow to? Well, that's a 2-minute inverse fair value gap. We get a 2-minute inverse fair value gap pushing for bearish order flow, which is right around here, correct? Now, I want you to look at this. What are we confirming bearish order flow or what are we confirming bearish order flow for? Is this 5-minute gap. So 1-hour liquidity sweep, 5-minute inverse to the downside to retrace into a 5-minute gap. So then we have 2 bullish confluences right now, or just you could say 1. But we have the buy side liquidity sweep, inverse down, confirming bearish order flow to then retrace and fill orders within this 5-minute bullish fair value gap, which is at 9:55. Which then I went down into the 1-minute. Actually, I believe it was the 2-minute today. I went down to the 2-minute. What could we have gotten? We could have gotten a 2-minute inverse right here, but the entry would have been terrible. I was on the 1-minute today. And what do we see after we tap into that? We see a 1-minute break of structure. And I was like, you know what? I just want to be a little more patient. I'm going to wait to see if we inverse this. At this point, this was like, you could say this is possibly an inverse. I say it's like just respecting it. But what I will say with that is we already had the break of structure. I was just waiting for the fair value gap to inverse to just get more confidence in it. And at this point, I was like, okay, we're going higher. This is a solid entry. I put my stops down to the most recent lows, which, to be honest, should have been right here. And what did I target? Wow, that's crazy. I'm targeting here. Right here is when I entered that trade. I targeted right here, which was like the first take profit. Now this is a 1 to 2, so my entry must have been on when I entered on Top Step was probably right around here. So we could just turn the magnet off, move this up. Yep, right around here. That was my entry. Stops right there. I targeted this 4-hour bearish fair value gap, which you could see when we come back to it. That was right here. We had a 4-hour bearish fair value gap. That was my first take profit. Now, I didn't leave runners on this because last week I took 3 losses. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be greedy this week. I'm going to take my profits and get out of the market. It's rare to win in these markets. My edge showed up. I wanted to execute, and I did. Now in hindsight, yeah, it's a bitch because this ran for a 1 to 5, which is nuts. This ran for a 1 to 5, which is cooked. But I got out at a 1 to 1.71, so I had a $600 day with this targeting right here. This small little move, this 1 to 1.71. But you go to the 1-minute, it looks a little bigger. But yeah, this was the setup for today. This is exactly what I took. We're looking for what my buddy sent me. Yeah, damn. So I just gave you, possibly, if I recall, 3 setups. And that was one on NQ. That was one on ES over here. Same one, basically. And then the setup that I actually took that you could have taken today. Now, one thing to look in hindsight, too, is when we have high-impact news and let's say it's pre-market, it's like 7:30, and it sweeps out most of our draws on liquidity, that kind of cooks us for the day, right? Like, you should probably hop off the charts. But we also ended up, I was patient on the market today, and I waited for this 1 hour to get formed up here, and that's what we ended up going off of. Um, and I found like a continuation model. I know a lot of people got beat in the markets today, and I just realized I have these in. This is plugged into my phone. I have nothing going through these fucking headphones. But I know a lot of people got fucked in the market today. I'm thankful I'm not one of them. I actually wanted to show something too on Top Step X, just so I would show proof that I took this. Cause a lot of people say it's not real. People say, oh no. Yeah, I've taken a couple trades on this account. The first week I was getting used to Top Step X, and I was getting fucked. So now I have a 30% win rate. Ideally, once I am on the PA account, I get that up to 70%. Average winning trade is 517. Average losing trade 230. That's good. Win rate needs to be higher. Had my first win today. I mean, I had a win last week on a 1-to-1, but then I got fucked later on in that day. But we can just go to launch Top Step X. Log in. Boom. This was kind of the same setup. I took this shit today, so you can tell. You can look at my balance, 100,348, and to show proof. Performance stats. Yeah, trade win percentage is 33.33%. Average win, 2.5 average loss. I'll take that. Best day of total profit, 190%. Profit factor. Like I said, I'm going to be doing pretty solid here. I believe in myself with this. Most active day was Wednesday. It was not. I had 4 total trades, and then yeah, that was an accident, and it was a lot on my fault. I'm only taking 1 trade a day from now on. Most profitable day was 663. That was today. It's my first actual W day. Least profitable day, 255. I'm going to take that. So the total number of trades are 9 right now. Total number of lots traded, 69. Ideally, I'd like this to be lower. At this point, it should only be like 4 or 5. But like I said, I took 4 trades in a day on accident. Not accident, it was my own issue. Average win duration, 50 minutes, 43 seconds. It just goes through everything. I've taken 7 lawns on this account and 2 shorts. But to be fair, on this account, we've been at all-time highs. That's crazy. My win rate on trades that are 1 to 2 minutes, 100%. Damn. Goated. All right, here's what I was going to show. Last week, 4 trades on this day, $59. 4 trades on this day, $255. 1 trade, $633. Tomorrow, if I even see a setup, I mean, what do we have tomorrow too? Tomorrow's the 13th. Low key, I mean, there's news, but it's no high impact news. It's kind of like a no news Wednesday. Tomorrow is going to be a normal trading day for me. Win or lose, I don't care. When my edge shows up, I'm going to execute. I'm going to be upping my risk a little more for the eval and start risking. So if I see an A+ setup tomorrow, I'm risking $700. I've been risking $400. So if I see an A+ setup tomorrow, I risk $700. I'm going to take that shit and I'm going to let my trades ride. But yeah, all it takes is literally like, let's say a 1 to 3 tomorrow, that'd be $1,000, $1,500. Maybe the same, $1,500. And maybe I go on a lose. I lose maybe on Friday, let's say it's $700, $600, $700. That's okay. And then I'm still up on the week. And then the next week, maybe I don't know. Just going through all this. But yeah, I did indeed take this setup today. Promise y'all that. Why the fuck does it look like this? This is on ES. Goofy. But yeah, I've honestly started to grow and like Top Step X a little bit more, to be honest. I'm starting to get the hang of it just with moving to take profits, the stop losses, and entering. The entering is still a little like eh. But other than that, I'm really liking Top Step X, and I do like my performance stats and everything it has to have for that. So like today, 633. It was just a really, really W day. And then the last month, I've only had this account for a week. Yeah, that's really it. That was the video for today. Going into tomorrow, let me just even get off of this now to show you where price is at. Basically up there. Fuck it crazy, dude. This would have been a 1 to 9. 1 to 10. I would have been out of the trade beforehand, but yeah, that was off of the 30-minute retrace, 5-minute break of structure, 2-minute retrace, and a 2-minute break of structure. That is fucking 2-minute retrace, and then I think it was a 1-minute break of structure. Hold up. Yeah. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's fucking crazy. That was a setup. This is the real setup for today, but even with mine, I don't like to enter in trades that don't have liquidity sweeps. Because I follow the phrase where it's like if you don't know where liquidity is, you most likely are liquidity, so don't fucking enter. Because when we get liquidity sweeps, it shows like a real draw on like, okay, where my price want to go, continue up or push lower, or continue lower and push higher, or push higher. But yeah, I'm gonna go watch some strategy creation, read a little of my book, get some cardio going, and then yeah, that was the recap for today. Devin, I'm hoping you watched this. Pretty goated day. I know TJR didn't find any setups today, but me and him traded a little bit differently. Peace out. Hopefully, you all learned from this.